Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about this dress right here. I have a little pattern review for you. This is Vogue 1843. This is a new winter 2021 release, a Sandra Betzina design. I couldn't wait to get it stitched up and I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm Sharon. Welcome to Sharon Sews, where we chat about everything sewing. Let's start with the features of the pattern. It's a Sandra Betzina design and she has sizes A through J. That's her own personal sizing for Vogue Patterns, and that's equivalent to a 32-inch bust to a 55-inch bust. Typically with Sandra Betzina patterns, I sew a C in the neckline, shoulder, and bust area, and then I grade out to a D in the waist and the hip. On this particular one, there's negative ease in the bust area. For example, a size C is a 36-inch bust and the pattern piece listed finished size as a 34-inch bust. That means a 2-inch negative ease. I don't like negative ease, so I went to a size D in the bust area, giving myself an extra 2 inches of room, and I even did another 1-inch full bust adjustment. I traced the top half of the pattern to the waist, and then I did my full bust adjustment on each piece separately, and then I overlaid this on the pattern piece when I cut it out. Because it's a very small dart, it's just 1 inch, I just eased that in. I didn't actually create a dart. You'll see there's no darts on here. Fabric recommendations for this pattern: two-way stretch fabrics with a 50% stretch cross grain. So suggestions listed are stretch velour, drapey knits, and matte jersey. This particular one, isn't this lovely? I absolutely love this fabric. This is from Minerva. It has a lot of stretch, 70% width, 40% length. Very, very drapey, very drapey. So it worked beautifully in this pattern. Features include shirred sleeves. It's a 2-piece sleeve, a cowl neck or just a plain facing option, obviously dress or tunic, and contrast panel. Well, you know I wanted the contrast. I love this look. I love the look. Fabric requirements, depending on the size of pattern that you choose: 2.5 yards to 3 1/8 yard for the main body of the dress, and the contrast is 1 3/8 yard. Well, I ordered this fabric from Minerva with another pattern in mind. After I received the fabric, this pattern had come out and I knew I wanted to make this work. I only had 3.5 yards. And this fabric from Minerva has a crosswise stretch and I wanted the lengthwise. So what I did is I cut it out on the cross grain and I did everything single layer, piece by piece. So then I was able to take the contrast and do the contrast on the horizontal stripe. I love the way it looks. It's very subtle. Now, there's no shortened lines on this. And I didn't even think about that as I was putting it together. Honestly, I was just so eager to put this together that it's a maxi on me. The cocoon shape at the hemline is created with darts. And this drape right here, it's just a great big pleat. It's about this deep, the pleat. That's why you want that drapey fabric. It just really has a nice flow to it. The pattern is rated average. I found it easy to sew. I think it might have been rated average because of the cowl neck. I will say that was the only part that took me a little bit of time, and that's because I had to lay it out on my cutting table and look at the picture in the instructions to make sure I was twisting it correctly. Just follow the instructions. It works. I'll put in a picture of the instructions so you can see. I think it would have been a little bit easier if I had a stronger contrast between the two. I was doing a vertical stripe and a horizontal stripe, and when you're twisting, it wasn't always obvious that I had the twist correct. But that's one of the best parts about this. And she does mention in the instructions that you can take this cowl neck, I've got it twisted because I love the way it looks, and you can fold it and wear it over your shoulders like that. Oh, something I want to mention before I forget. I brought this neckline up by 1/2 inch. I think it could have even gone up a little bit more. Again, I've got a very, very drapey fabric here. It's just when you have a very soft drapey fabric, the weight of it can potentially pull the dress down a little bit. I love the sleeves and I wasn't real sure I was going to like the shirring on it. I've done that before where you add elastic and you zigzag the elastic on the seam to create that shirring effect. Sometimes it doesn't work out. This worked out really well. It's a 2-piece sleeve. Love that. It's got a beautiful curve to it, so that helps. You cut your 1/4 inch elastic, you use the pattern guide that is included, and then you anchor it at the top and the bottom of where you're going to shear, and then you just very slowly and carefully stretch it slightly as you're stitching. You're going to use a little zigzag stitch, and you're just going to continue all the way down until you have a nice even shearing or gathering on that. I sewed everything on my Bernina 770QE. I used a narrow zigzag stitch. After I sewed the seams, I did finish them with my serger. I used a 3-thread narrow stitch. You don't need to do that. You could stitch this completely on your sewing machine. To hem it, I used steam a seam. In fact, Sandra Betzina is where I first learned about using steam a seam to hem knits. I finished the edge with the serger, and then I lightly placed my steam a seam on the wrong side of the hem with the paper side up, very, very, very lightly pressed. As that cooled, I pulled off the paper backing, and then I folded it out. It's a 5/8 inch hem at the sleeve and at the bottom. This fabric just makes this dress, doesn't it? I used black thread. I happen to have black thread already threaded on my machine, but there's so many colors in here that you really could use whatever you want. And I think that's what I love about this most is the multitude of colors. It's like a sunset here and a sunrise there and an ocean here is just, I like it. Isn't that silly? But I guess if you sew, I mean, when you shop, you buy stuff you love. Well, when we sew what we love. So if you want to go check out the fabric, I will link my blog post in the description box below, and you can go get yourself some of this also. If you found the review helpful, enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe so you get notified when I have future videos posted. If you have questions about this pattern that I did not address, please leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you on that. Until I see you in the next video, I hope you have a blessed day and happy sewing. A brand new fall, winter, I almost had it.